wanted to share with you some work that Dr. Nobles and Dr. Goddard have done in trying to move forward the definition of an African American community defined practice. It's a starting point for ongoing discussions that would be held in different opportunities to hold a discussion. We want to make sure that we printed these out and want to make them available to you all. Christy, where are they available? Are they at the registration? These are available for you at the registration. It's refining the definition of an African American community defined practice. So I know Dr. Nobles has said that he hopes that this might be something that can also help keep the discussion moving forward in terms of building the evidence for practices, starting to think about the model that he's used here to articulate the theories of change for an African American community defined practice. Okay, and I think we're ready now for Barbara. Yes.
Thank you for inviting us up to help with the closing. You know, Art Martinez, who spoke this morning on the panel, had to leave. He was listed, but he had some personal business he needed to take care of. And so we want to wish him safe travels as he goes home and takes care of his family, what he needs to do. But we're honored that he asked us in a good way. He brought us, he gave us some sage and asked us if we would stand in his place. And when someone offers you that tobacco or that medicine, you know, you have to say, yes, I'll do that. And so we agreed to do that. And so Carlos is going to offer a song in a moment. But I just wanted to tell, because I'm not someone that really prays in public, but the older I get, people ask me, will you say a prayer? And I'm like, oh. But I am a storyteller. And so I want to tell a quick story, a short story. And Mr. Sock, Pisces? Is it Pisces? Okay, I rename everybody. Pisces. And in my tradition, Pisces, if you are given a name, you owe that person 4 gifts. So you now. So I just taught cultural congruence. You owe me 4 gifts. Anything will do. Okay. So I was up in Alaska recently in Dillingham with the Yupik, and bringing back ceremony can happen any ways. Sometimes as people that say, how do we find those ceremonies? There might have been decades, it might have been generations since they're gone. How do we bring them back? And people struggle with this. But I was sitting in a community-based, and I was the facilitator there, community-based training, the GONA, which we talked about in the other room, the Gathering of Native Americans. And one of the things that happens during the GONA is during the 4-day session, you have arts and crafts, and you're creating something for a giveaway, for the last day of generosity, the value of generosity. And there was a Yupik elder that was sitting there, and she took some fabric off the arts and crafts table, and she was sitting there sewing something for the giveaway. And so during the break, I went and I said, what are you making? And she said, I'm making a kavik. And I said, oh, what is that? And she said, it's a rolled up sewing kit. So that it's rolled, it's just fabric, but it's tied where you roll it up. And she said, when I was little, we made these, and we put our sewing, our needle and our thread, our thimbles would go in the kakivik. And we would have that, and that was a symbol, and it was more important than our clothing that we had this kakivik. And I said, will you come back tomorrow when we're looking at historical trauma and share that story about the kakivik and the purpose? And she said, okay. And she wasn't one of the speakers, but she was, you could tell like, I'm going to be a speaker at the conference. And so the next day she came, and she was dressed in her finest. And she said, I found out something else about the kakivik. It was not only was it your sewing kit, but you wrapped your dolls in there. You wrapped your doll in the kakivik. And when it came that time of your first menstruation, you unwrapped that doll and you gave it to somebody younger. And you had your sewing, and then you put your sewing kit. And I said it was a womanhood ceremony. And she said it was. And she told that story, and she said, I forgot that. And all of the people said, we knew it was called kakivik, but we never heard the story of how it transformative. And so your ceremonies are out there. You know, it's asking the question, to ask the story. You know, ask the story. Tell me what you're doing there. And out of those stories and those ceremonies emerge. And that's what, stories are a prayer. So that's the story that I leave with you today as Carlos will offer a song, is to ask those questions. Tell me what you're doing, and see your ceremonies will emerge. So,
Thank you, Barbara. So when I'm asked to do a closing prayer or a song, I think about, the song is my prayer. The words that I sing in the song, most of them are always asking Creator or, our higher spirit to help us, to guide us, to have pity on me, because I'm a common man, just trying to make a difference in my life and the people around me. And so, when I'm singing a song, if you guys can go ahead and say a prayer in your own way, in your own words, in your own way that you were taught, by your traditions and people. And so I feel like everybody stand up that can stand up. I was taught that, when I'm talking to Creator, that I stand up and I acknowledge Creator, and I focus on that. All my relations. I want to just say safe travels to everyone, that you guys make it back home safely, and when you get back home that you find it in peace and the way you left it.